Welcome back to One Piece Anime Review, episode number. I know it's 3 something. 320. Yep, 320. Yep. And we're back to basically new episodes again. Excuse me. This is reviewing episode 1079, which is called The Morning Comes, Luffy's and the other, let's see, it's called Morning Comes, Luffy and the Others Rest. This episode covers the entirety of chapter 1052. So pretty much here's what happens in the episode. Well, it's pretty much like the morning just after we have Momonosuke becoming the new shogun. We're getting ready to the festival. Everyone's told, don't put stuff away. We're having another festival. Cool. And also we see Mogi, Tristan, and Chopper. They'll watch over a sleeping Zoro and Luffy. Yep. And where's everybody else this episode? Well, surprisingly, the one character is absent this episode is Robin. Yes, Nico Robin's absent, but there's a reason for that. They actually explain in the following chapter what she was up to. Yep. So, and then of course, basically, then we see Yamato on the roof of the Shogun Palace, and then she goes grumbling, and then all of a sudden she hears from Hidori that Luffy and Zoro awake, where she yells, Yamato, big brother. And of course, basically, you have Hidori kicking the adult Momonosuke in the face, which is so funny. He's like, really? You're still doing that? We're adults and you're still doing that. Yep. And this is so hilarious. And then, of course, you see Luffy and Zoro eating. Like, you see Luffy just eating, of course, he's doing his little Gummy moves, and it's like OP like it than normally is, and of course, don't worry, just to slow it down. We have some food coming, and of course, Luffy and Zoro don't really recognize him because he's in adult form now, and of course, basically, Zoro and Luffy do comment the fact that he does look like his father, and the fact that even Yamato comments that too. He tried to do this thing where he was like when he was in child form, where he was basically going to Nami's chest. He's like, no. Not happening, dude. Yep. And then, like, Nami's like, hey. And, of course, they do confirm in this episode that Izzo and Ashura are, in fact, deceased. Well, we briefly see Kinemon, Kaminatsu, and Marco at the Ringo province, well, the place where they got the swords from. And, of course, Katsuma is the fox, basically, from prior events of the main story. And so, Kiku, Yamato, and Nami come up with the ingenious idea to have a bath. All of it before, and of course, basically, Zoro's like, I don't feel dirty. Why am I'm clean? And apparently, Hidori has been wiping his body. And then, of course, Sanji gets jealous of that. And of course, basically, what you mentioned before about supposedly killing his mind gets under control after the battle. He's like, oh, don't worry about that. Yep. And then they have the bath. Yep, we're in the guy's bath. Mostly it's just Chopper, Luffy, Zoro, Usopp. Even Yamato decided to join them for reasons. Over in the girls' bath, it of course also the Shogun's there too. In the girls' bath, it's Nami, who has Tom on top of her. And of course, basically, Tama is hoping her chest gets as big as Nami's. Yes, seriously. You see her playing with Nami's chest. Before we see this, first person we see is Speed, which is interesting. We get close up of Speed in this bath, which is because she's in the scene, but she's off in the distance. Which I thought that was kind of weird. Like, you have Speed here, and yet she's off in distance, and yet she's supposed to be taking care of Tama. Shinobu's here. Like, all the girls are here taking a bath. They actually got the line here where I think it was Robin who mentioned this, or at least Nami, or about Kaku possibly, because There was a line, if I remember originally, when this chapter was released, or people still thought Kiku was a guy, even though that the dub clarified it's a woman. Yeah, my guess is that Crunchyroll must have heard that. And look at Kiku, this like the sub kind of said, oh, she's basically has the appearance of thinks she's a guy with a woman heart. The dub is like, no, she's a woman, clearly a woman. They're not going for that bullcrap. It's just, yeah. My guess is now I'm surprised Crunchyroll didn't see flack for that particular line, and yeah, and apparently they must have seen this, and they probably changed whatever line that was said here, because there's no mention about possibly her being a guy. Nope, none at all. Because even they probably felt as though, I'm sure Funimation probably let it slide, because that's when the episode was there on Funimation. But my guess, when Crunchyroll was releasing the dub, they probably felt as though, yeah, probably a good idea to change that, because even they felt it was a so stupid idea to think that Kiku is a guy, even though we look at Kiku was clearly a girl. Yamato was clearly a girl, and she thinks of as a guy. It was a weird thing. Oda would think that this whole transgender stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's not working. And that's the reason why, basically, that after bringing up like once, it's like basically ignored. Yep. So then after this bath scene, then we have some weird stuff here where after the bath we see, while back in the island we see Basil Hawkins, we finally succumb to his wounds, asking he's a Navy soldier. And now, before we get to the Navy stuff, that's of course quite interesting, because it's debut a kind of a full appearance of this character. We see the Kid Pirates, Heart Pirates, and the Straw Hats all pairing their ships ready to leave. We're basically getting all fixed up. And of course, Scratchman decided to bring him a newspaper detailing new blueprints. Of course, also, yeah, new updates in the outside world, like who's new emperor, because they actually don't show him here in the episode, but in the chapter they do show Kaido and Big Mom one more time. Despite the fact they're clearly gone. Well, of the two of them, Big Mom is buried in a hole someplace, and Kaido fell into lava. So, the thing is, Big Mom could possibly come back because she's like deep in a hole. She's not buried in a hole, she's deep in a hole. While in the case of Kaido, he's probably dead. Yeah, given what the anime showed it, he's dead. Despite the fact he's probably obviously dead. And in the case of him, I do not think there's any way he can come back from that. Big Mom, maybe, but not Kaido. Excuse me. Now, a couple outside things. First, we see from the five elder idiots, where they inform what happened, and of course, basically, not much information. Of course, they mentioned that Zoe disappeared. Oh, by the way, I'm also going to mention for that bath scene, Taka was there along with Carrot. Yep. This is also by far the first scene where Tama and Taka ever share a scene together. They don't look at each other, but they're definitely in the same shot, which I thought was so funny. I thought it was really nice, the fact that two girls, one of whom basically is considered as Luffy's big brother, and the other one mostly interact with the other Straw Hats. I don't think Taka has ever really even met Luffy at all. Not that I can think of. But I love the bath scene. I thought it was really fun. Aside from the five other idiots, they're basically informing one of the CP0s, like, okay, so they couldn't stop Luffy, so they're like, can you go retrieve Nico Robin? Really? You're still on this, basically? And he's like, sure, I can do that. And then he's jammed. And the episode ends with a fleet admiral. Well, actually, not fleet admiral. Basically, one of the admirals who was briefly seen in shadow. We heard him speak, but we didn't actually see him fully back in the memory arc. Rinku. We don't see his face per se, but we do see him flying. And he's told, don't do anything unnecessary. And he flies into Wano. Where does he fly to? Udon Prison, where it beats to the three disasters. King, Queen, and Jack. Yep, that's what's gonna happen next week. Great episode. Yes, basically with this episode, we're starting the aftermath. Yes, this is after that 2 previous episodes that kind of concluded. This is basically the aftermath episodes, which I still feel as though today we should call this, because even though that starting with, you could say that episode, like chapter 1049 did kind of wrap up this arc, and start 1050, it's the immediate aftermath. Like, they could have called it Wano Aftermath, but no, they still call it simply Wano, because the first time I saw this, when it had a set of episodes after what happened, the main story wrapped up, basically with the aftermath, I think at the top of my head was probably for Eddie's Lobby. That was the first one. The second one was post-war. Now, Alabasta did this too, where they had a series of aftermath episodes, but still part of the Alabasta arc. And it seems as though, what you think, okay, what about Dressrosa? Dressrosa had maybe 2, 1 or 2 at most, and that was it. Actually, it had like a few, but it wasn't like a chunk of episodes. It was like 4 or 5. Like, what had happened with Annie's Lobby is the fact that their post-Annie's Lobby episodes were longer than the actual chapters, because they wanted to basically extend... because they wanted to extend the actual, like, give the manga more time. Now, it is something, though, we're not doing the whole thing of splitting the chapter in half, adding a bunch of extra content. Here it's very little, at best, which is fine. Now, as this episode, we have exactly 5 more chapters left to be adapted for this arc. And that's it. So, at the rate we're going at, it'll be at this point next month when we're finally finished with Wano. And I did see on the Weekly Shonen chat, basically on the Weekly Shonen YouTube channel, they released sort of a teaser for the very next arc, which is Egghead. Yes. So apparently by next month, we're possibly going to Egghead. Though I would basically, if I were Toei, instead of being good Egghead, perhaps we could, I don't know, have it instead of original episodes, because the thing is, this arc, which I'm about to talk about here, has only been going on since chapter 1058. Yes, that is how long this arc is going on for. So with this very chapter, let's see, it is, 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. This is the 28th chapter of this very arc. Yep, 28th. And the next chapter comes out actually in 2 weeks. Yes, for some reason we're going to wait a little over 2 weeks for the very next chapter. Now, which if I look online, I don't know if this is true or not. Apparently, next chapter is at least the 30th this month. Which, okay, so this chapter is called "Better Off Dead in This World." We have a coverage about Buggy chasing a monkey who took his nose. Yep, the chapter starts off with basically where Saturn of the 5 Elder Idiots. Yes, I'm still calling these guys that because they're complete idiots. Who apparently are so... The best way to describe them is they have a stick up the rear end and they just do not want to move it. They're so stuck in their ways and they're such extremely old men, they just don't care. So, like... So basically, the Navy soldiers are running away from one of the elders, Saint Saturn, as he's called, who got stabbed by Bond in the last chapter. And of course, apparently, they always saw him in portraits. Really? Let me get this straight, guys. You guys have probably worked your Navy your whole lives, and you knew about the 5 Elder Idiots, and you've only seen him in pictures. Like, do these 5 people, do they not, interact with people very much? And apparently Saturn is not afraid of the sword, and she grabs Bonnie by one hand. Looks like he basically knocks away Sanji. Pulls out the sword, and like the blood vanished. Yes. And like, seize Vegapunk group, we have no chance. Wait, you fools. Don't be hasty, keep your weapons. Congratulations by your standards, Kazuru. I'm sorry I failed you. I don't think I'll be able to be mobile anytime soon. I think I understand why. Let's see. And then look like he's about to stomp on Luffy. But then Frankie pushes him out of the way. Yeah, Luffy cannot move. He looks like he's been aged. I see. He's like, I see a pirate crew that coordinates. And then, of course, you have Frankie. So even the guys who rule the world want to cap this, huh? Oof. Straw Hat Luffy. Jure Bonnie. We don't anticipate your presence here. But if your fate is strong enough to escape this situation, I'd very much like to see it. And you, Vegapunk, your betrayal is most disappointing. But your great service to our military is appreciated. Which of you should die first? Tell me, from the least to most painful. I want you to die nothing to regret your rebelling against the world government. And he starts squeezing Bonnie. Why is the human beings? Oh, yes. So apparently the 5 older idiots are monsters. Yep. And of course, he's squeezing her. No else move? I can't. No, I can't. Move down. If there's a science, that it must be the devil fruit powers. Bonnie. And Bonnie tells him, you killed my father, Saturn. Kumu, you mean? He was born to a slave caste. Of the son of a clan that once committed a grave crime against the world. The last survivor of the extinct Buccaneer people. Yep, so don't kill her because she's a child. And then we have flashback to 47 years prior to the events of the series in the Sorba Kingdom. Now, this is quite strange for Kuma. It's like they've not been consistent with him, like, oh, they call him the tyrant, and then they later say he was a ruler of a country. And now he's a clan from Buccaneers? From a slave caste? Really? Yeah, this is kind of weird. So, basically he's born normally, and then basically, like, apparently it's like, oh yeah, his parents were in slavery to the idiot Celestial Dragons. Yeah, and I can never get enough thinking in my head when Luffy punched one of these guys in the face. Like, yes, thank you. And this is one of the reasons why Boa Hancock fell in love with him, because he punched a Celestial Dragon. You know, of course, basically gets bigger. Legendary words be Buccaneers. Yeah. Like with God Valley, an island that does not exist anymore. Yeah, it was destroyed. Yeah. So it was suggested that maybe the true ruler of the world, he got rid of it. Or at least she, because it was suspected that Iku, the giant shadowy figure, who's only appeared a few times in the series, it was suspected by Igaroth that she could be from the Nevertay family, the one who didn't go back, who said she went back but really didn't. It was theorized, but it was not confirmed. Nope, not confirmed at all. So, Dust Dragon's boasting, and we see Saint Figure Gerling, the same guy we saw execute the Celestial Dragon before. We see various figures like Chomsky, the Buccaneer Boy. And then the chapter ends with, we see Kuma meeting for the first time Imperial Ikonov and Jenny. I'm like, that's interesting. The fact that these two show up here in this chapter, I did not suspect that at all. You could say this is their first appearance in a flashback. You think, huh, that's interesting. Jenny, I believe, was the one who, oh. Yeah, Jenny, this is the first appearance, but Ikarov, yes. Yeah, it's weird, though, the fact that these, so, Kuma is one of these buccaneers who basically are giants, but not really giants. Since Kuma basically is part of these people, and Giovanni is her father, Giovanni is her daughter, so that means she's half buccaneer. Possibly. Don't know. They haven't really confirmed that. It's like they haven't finished telling the story yet. It's like we get part of the story here, but basically this whole idea of the buccaneer stuff, this actually is quite interesting. My guess is this is probably something that Oda wanted to do for some time, especially as buccaneers generally depicted as usually very noble pirates. Here, depicted as warriors. I'm like, that's interesting. I did not suspect it, but I thought it was really cool. Absolutely great chapter. I can't wait to discuss the very next chapter. Presumably coming out in just, like, and this is quite strange, though, like, just 2 weeks. Yeah, it's quite weird, the fact that we wait over 2 weeks next chapter. I thought basically it was going to be like a week. Nope, it's like 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. But yeah, that's particularly a particular view. I'm going to rest my voice for a bit and then basically do 2 comic corners, okay? Next view. Bye.